What's up, everyone? It's DeagleBeagle. So today we're going to look at some common combos that will be used in Regulation E. So we already know that Coma O is going to most likely be top tier, along with Wheezing Galar, with both abilities, Misty Terrain and Neutralizing Gas, because Coma O just has an amazing move called Clingerous Soul, and you may be thinking, well, Quiver Dance is better because you don't lose a third of your max health, and you raise almost all those stats anyways. Yeah, but it doesn't raise defense, it doesn't raise attack. It is a different Pokemon that has worse offensive coverage because Heatran can easily wall all its good moves. And Como-O doesn't really have that problem where all these Pokemon can wall its moves, and it has really good offensive coverage. So, and Throat Spray to help it out offensively. So, well, I mean, it is 4 times weak to Fairy, which is more common than Rock Slide, I suppose. But Rock Slide is still pretty common. So, there's that. And Como has Overcoat, so it doesn't kind of have to use either offensive pressure on Amoonguss or Terra Grass. And we're going to see a lot of Amoonguss Como. So I should probably go over it in the next video how to counter that. But you could counter Como with Soundproof Como. And that, however, will be weak to Spore. So you're kind of in a tough spot. You could use a soundproof one with Sub. I should have covered that in my other video. I mean, it's pretty easy eventually to figure out how to counter all that stuff. I'm just going to go over the combos. But in general, this combo won't have that many counters. Taunt, maybe, or something that ignores Rage Powder that can super affect Como, whether it tears or not. There's not a lot of Pokemon like that, though. So they would have to be probably Grass or Terra Grass or have safety goggles. But we might see something like that. We'll see. And another common combo will be Slacking Wheezing, because with Neutralizing Gas, Wheezing gets rid of Slacking's Truant. So you're not loafing off every other turn, and Slacking has the same base stat total as Regigigas. So for the first 5 turns, it essentially is a Regigigas, because it has like almost all the same moves that Regigigas has. It has Giga Impact, Double Edge, etc. So, wait a minute. No, it doesn't have Double Edge anymore. That's wrong. They took that out somehow. Because I remember, because I'm using OU doubles, and it's supposed to be, I think, Regulation D. I don't know. And maybe it will have Double Edge, but I kind of doubt it for some reason, because I thought I checked before and it didn't have it. But maybe it will. We'll have to see. And that will be used with Wheezing, because Wheezing with Neutralizing Gas, it also messes up the opponent's abilities. So let's say they have a Swift Swimmer, or they have a Slush Rush Pokemon, or they have Sun, or even they have like an Amoonguss that's switching back in. It should ignore the Regenerator, and some of these abilities like Iron Hands probably won't be activated anyway, so that probably won't matter. Yeah, actually, if it can neutralize Urshifu's ability, that would be really useful, so that you can protect versus Urshifu, and it would stop, I believe, it would stop Intimidate until Wheezing's gone. So it'd help your physical allies like Slacking, and it would also stop Prankster Tornadus from having Prankster, and you could outspeed it and knock it out or taunt it or whatever. And And Slaking can do that because it's somewhat fast with 100 base speed, unless they max speed with Tornadus. And what else was I trying to go over? That's mostly it. I think if I'm using neutralizing gas, though, I would want like a lot of bulk with it so it survives as long as possible, and maybe even like citrus or something with it, because you're trying to stall long enough for slack to make use out of slacking, most likely, and its ability in general. So probably use like citrus or something with it if you're using that. And the Misty Train isn't, or Misty Surge isn't really part of a combo necessarily. It's more to just help the team in general. And then Ninetales regular will be used a lot with Lilligan H, but it's not going to be used a lot. Like when I say a lot, I mean like it's definitely going to be used, but it's probably not going to be super common. It's probably going to be like, I don't know the usage, somewhat low, probably a little bit higher than Torkoal, because Ninetales seems better than Torkoal in general, but it's not going to be super common. It's probably going to be like, I don't know, what usage, 5% usage, and or 10, 5 to 10, I don't know, or less, whatever. So still going to be useful though. And then let's cover some other combos. So we're going to have Ludicolo, but I don't think Ludicolo is necessarily that amazing anymore when people can use like Basculegion or something instead. With that Last Respects move is pretty good. And the other thing, you could use Pelipper with Ludicolo too. And then I don't think Sandslash is going to be that good, but at least it does pressure Fluttermane and some other Pokemon. In the past it was alright, but never that great. And then Ninetales will be decent because it boosts its defense now with that update in one of the, I think it might even, yeah, I think it was a Generation 9 update, like for, the new game. So that's definitely going to be used with Slush Rush. And then now going to a few other things. In the past, Vikavolt was used with Garchomp, and it used like Assault Vest, and they had like Rain with like Politoed and whatnot. So I imagine you could use the same thing now, like Earthquake Discharge shenanigans, and you could always U-turn out of there and go to Politoed, get the Rain up, and stop Vikavolt from getting hit hard by a fire move. So just depends on what you're trying to do. Politoed would work better with the pivoting type of teams or defensive teams because they can take hits better usually than Pelipper. So it just depends on your play style. Politoed is definitely going to be high tier, but as far as its tier, at most I think it's going to be marginally better, like barely better than Pelipper. But that's just my opinion. I do like how it may have less weaknesses, but on the other hand, it might have more weaknesses if like grass Pokemon like Rillaboom are common. And Conkeldurr, it could be good because it counters the Ursaluna stuff, even though they could tear it, but if they don't tear it, out speeds and can put a lot of pressure on it, even though we already have Hariyama. But Conkeldurr having Guts is nice with Drain Punch, and that's something that I shouldn't say Hariyama doesn't have, because it does have it, but I mean, Conkeldurr just has good stats. And wait, let me look and see what Hariyama's attack is. Okay, yeah, it has more attack than Hariyama, like I remember. So, maybe one last Pokemon. Dusclops, I think, is going to be like not top tier because Furrig or something's going to outclass it. But okay, if you're using OTS, use Pressure. But if you're using CTS, use Frisk. So you're going to see this on ladder a lot with Frisk. and with them closing the sheets to try to get an advantage out of it, especially with its ability. But in OTS, you would want to use pressure, even though it doesn't necessarily even do anything. But it's better than doing nothing at all. And you would probably want like, and why am I bringing up Dusclops? It's part of a combo. So Trick Room, and then after that, it's whatever. I mean, like, you could use so many things with it. Pain Split. You could use. You would not use Poltergeist. But this Pokemon's good in general because with Eviolite, it's really bulky. It's already immune to Fake Out. You can Will-O-Wisp them and everything. I might make a video on this later, but unless you're trying to like survive the whole game long or something, I would probably use Furic Giraffe instead. I like its ability more, and it protects the entire side of the field from priority, which is probably more useful in Trick Room than just being a ghost type or whatever, especially a Pokemon that has almost no offense. So I would say you could use it with Conkeldurr or just in general, but it's probably going to be A tier and not ever top tier. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.